played an album to that little countdown music. That was really awesome. That was really awesome. Oh my goodness. You know what? This is season 4 of Small Biz Bites. Can you believe it? We are back, Turin. We are back. And I'm so excited because you know I like to open up my seasons with showstoppers. What can I tell you? So let me do something really quick before I play my little fancy music and whatnot. There was a dear associate who asked about the podcast, and I immediately thought YouTube and blah, blah, blah. And she said, oh, I thought you were like on Spotify or, Apple Music. And I was like, wait a minute, Gwendolyn is on. I'm on Amazon Music. I'm on Spotify. I'm on iHeartRadio. I just don't share it enough. God bless me. I'm going to do better. I promise you I will do better. So let me tell you now that this is where else you can find me if by chance you want to be out and about doing the things and still hear this lovely, calming, engaging, and empowering voice. I can do that for you. I can do it. I also, because I am so loving my glasses. Y'all know I love my readers, right? You know I love my readers. Of course, these are from Glitz Optical. These are amazing. And I'm going to say it again. Despite her having a storefront, she can still work with you on a mobile basis. The child still does stuff virtually. So let's not pretend like this ain't cute right here because the girl is looking good. Look at that. Oh my God. Okay, let me stop. Let me play the intro and then we are going to get started with the celebration because I have confetti. Yes, welcome everybody. This is Gwendolyn, G.R. Houston Jack. You are watching Small Biz Bites, okay? And this is where I get to talk to other creatives, small business owners, and they get to share their journey with us. And so I believe in we can all do this together. Right? This does not have to be if I shine bright and you're next to me shining bright, that dims my light. That is not the case. That's not how that works. So before I bring on our special guest, we got a lot of people here. Thank you all for showing up. My mama's here because mama gonna represent. Hello, Mrs. Houston. My partner, Chris Edwards, is here. Yes, I am ready for this conversation. My work husband, Ron Foster, is here. We are excited. And this is that beautiful part of sharing someone else's story. And I do believe in giving people their flowers, before they go. We are here one day, we are gone the next. If you're going to share something about somebody, be sure you do it while they're here and while they can hear what you really want to say to them. So let's celebrate the people who are making a difference in this world. And so I want, of course, bring to our stage our special guest. Is going wild for Dr. Tachi. Hello, how are you, ma'am?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I am doing really good. I am loving the colors, loving the eyewear. I am digging it.
I had to be special since this is a celebration of sorts.
Yes, it is. Now, before we get started, because we have to, I do want to shout out one thing. I just checked. I want to make sure, and someone else can check for me, but I could have sworn I saw 26.4 thousand subscribers on YouTube for IndieSoup Media. Am I right?
Okay.
I want to say I think so. We are talking over 25,000 followers who follow IndieSoup Media. That is amazing. And what Dr. Tachi has done in creating this space for content creators like myself and others is no small feat. Doing all the damn thing, ma'am. So because of that, we have to bring some confetti.
Oh,
Now,
okay. I'm all for
now
confetti.
I will say I do have a little something in my mug. No, it is not anything hot. It is a little sparkling wine. I'm not gonna lie about it, but I want to make sure it looks like I was thinking something else. We're not gonna lie. But I got confetti though. I have confetti, and I hope
Let's
it's
do
blue.
it.
Hope it's blue. Okay, so this is for all the persons. If you have not, please go follow IndieSoup Media, and I would love it. You just have to think about where we are in terms of technology and media and having access, and what Dr. Tachi has done, creating this platform, which is not just on YouTube, but is on Twitch and Facebook. And help me out, Dr. Tachi. Did I miss something?
Yeah, no, you're right. It's Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube are the main streaming platforms.
Yes, thank you. Those are our main ones. I need to hold up. I need to protect my drink because I don't want any confetti in there.
We don't
can
want
count this down.
Drink now. We know how you get.
We are celebrating. I hate when I do it. Woo!
Yay!
Oh my God. You know what?
Wow.
So this is
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So let me tell you what this is not. This is not confetti. Oh my God.
What is it?
My office is covered in blue paint.
Live on television, people. You can't make this up. You can't make this
perhaps
up.
they should have said when they put it with all the confetti that this was is it a boy or a girl thing going down, because this is
Oh no, that is. I was wondering. I was like, what is this blue haze?
this is not confetti.
Oh, it's a gender reveal thing that's
It's
meant
a
for
gender
outside.
reveal. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. That's what you get when you watch Winter. Now, I don't know how I'm going to clean all this blue paint out of this office. Lord have mercy. It is looking like a hot mess over here.
Well, no, that's okay. That's okay. Listen, it's fun. And I'm like, I've never seen confetti have a haze around it. This must be some special new thing. Wow.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
And it's okay because you know what? That's just the theme of the stream today, because for some reason, you see my camera is exposed, is going in and out of exposure. So guess what? We're all messed up today. You're blue. I'm bright.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to have pictures. This like I can't help it. There is blue paint all over up in here. But you know what? That's the joy of live and life, people.
Exactly. That's
your husband's going to be mad. You know what? He may have something to say, Chris. He may have something to say.
wow.
Oh,
Wow.
I love it.
And I could say I was here to experience that. Wow.
Okay, Dr. Tachi.
Yes.
Now that we know that we're having a boy, let me ask you some fast 5 questions.
Yes.
Get this started, and then we're gonna jump into some other things. My goodness.
Absolutely. Wait a minute, but before we do that, can we do a toast?
Yeah. Hey, let's do a toast, because I'm gonna need that whole bottle.
You're gonna need it. So let's toast.
I'm gonna need this whole bottle. Do you want to lead the toast?
Yes. To not only 1 year of IndieSoup Media, but to 1 year of the people like you and Ron and Chris, and I could go on, that made IndieSoup Media what it is. So salud, cheers.
Cheers. I need a refill. Oh my God, this is amazing. Okay. If anybody want to come by and help me clean, I will send you my address. Let me get into this. Okay, are you a spring or a winter? What do you enjoy more?
Spring. Winter can go to hell.
She said, I am not one for the colds. Not one. Physical book or audiobook?
Oh, I love a physical book. I love a good audiobook if I'm driving somewhere, but I would say physical book because I like to curl.
Oh,
I like to curl with technology.
Yes.
Which is why I'm good for a small screen, and I like to curl with a book.
I appreciate that. I also think, I shouldn't say think, but I do like when I'm able to get a book and get it signed, right? Like I still like getting
Yes.
my book signed, like a little personal message. I still appreciate that. So I like
Yes,
a good
absolutely so.
phone call or text.
It depends on who it's from.
Oh, okay. All right. I
If
understand.
I
that.
know that this is someone who I don't necessarily want to talk to and they
Yeah.
will keep me on the phone forever, text me. But if it's somebody that I enjoy talking to, yeah, call all day. Or you could, so it depends on who.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. All right, beach or lake?
Beach.
She's like, I'm on the beach all the time.
Lake is for peasants. I'm kidding.
All the time. Here's our kicker here, and I want you to dive deeper into an Instagram or TikTok.
So I have to say that I enjoy both. I've been on Instagram a lot longer. I think more of my core audience is on Instagram, but I see the promise of what TikTok can do. I have been on Instagram longer, but I've been on TikTok since it was Musically.
Mhm.
So that was since 2015 or 2016 I've been on. So I've been on both a very long time. I guess it depends on for what.
Well, do we believe, because it feels for me like TikTok is still having their identity crisis. They just can't figure out where they're supposed to be. We know the original creators are not at the helm, and Meta is chasing every latest, greatest trend.
Yeah.
So looking at where we're moving in terms of social media and networking and having access to technology, do we see Instagram even being around? I mean, I guess I can't see them going away, but it's kind of funny.
See, what's going to happen is they're going to have to not only maintain the audience they have, which is rapidly aging, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's rapidly aging, and they're not necessarily replacing them with newer users, right? Younger users flock where? To TikTok. So they're going to have to decide who they are and what they are, and what the problem has been with a lot of these social media outlets is they've been chasing what everybody else has been doing. Oh, they have a this, I wanted this too. They have a that, let me go and get a that. Did you ask your core audience what they want? Did you ask the audience you're seeking after what they want, or did you just decide this is what it's going to be? And so when you're constantly chasing other people, my thing is like eyes on your own paper. Eyes on your own damn paper. So stop chasing what everybody else is doing because you see it works for them. It may not work for you. And in typical Meta, master of none fashion, that's what I call them, master of none, because they do a lot of things, but nothing particularly well. And so in typical fashion, they just throw spaghetti at the wall and see what seems to stick. And then as it starts to slide off, we're pulling the plug. We're pulling the plug on it. So that's where we are with that. But I think there is a future for Instagram if they decide who their core audience really is and stop trying to grasp at everything that moves. Oh, did we freeze? Or is it me?
What happened?
Did we freeze? Do you know what? Listen, this is going to be that stream, isn't it? This is going to be that stream.
Oh my God! You know what, Dr. Tachi? Somebody don't want us to be great today.
Somebody between my camera going in and out, I don't know why, and then the blue.
Yes.
That's okay. We're going to make it great.
We are going to make this work, people. They're not going to stop us. Since you were talking about that, let me share some of the comments from our crowd, because, you know, as you were saying, like, we know where Instagram started. I remember when I posted my first picture, it was all the champagne and some cheese. That's what I started, you know, some Baby Bell, very simple. I thought it was cute, right? And then they just went to, as you said, every single thing. And it's like, what is the deal? Like, what's the point? And there was a period of time, I'm saying like the last 2-3 years, where people who were on Instagram, just say were, they still are, where they started chasing every single trend, but it would change like a current exchange rate. Like right now is this, the next thing is audio, and now is here. And I'm thinking, I don't have the patience for that. And I don't even see the people that I used to follow. And I say used to because I have found that I've lost followers, or I'm no longer following them. I have to go back. But it's like, I just want to see their content. Can I just see their content?
Right.
And it's frustrating. It is extremely frustrating. So Serena's here. Hey, shout out Serena. Oh, she says loving the hat, Soro Tachi.
Thank you.
Says congratulations. And there are a lot of cheers as well, because we are doing something. And it really is about building as a community. Not that you can't do some stuff by yourself, but I just feel like it's easier if we do it as a community. I'm just saying, like,
I don't know why we insist on operating in silos, entertainment silos, media silos, and otherwise. But yes, I do, because sometimes people feel like they need to have the credit for whatever it is they're creating. So if you can't have your name on it, you don't want to do it. Now, I'm not saying not to get the credit for what you're doing, but I really don't know anybody else that has a whole YouTube channel full of a bunch of creators as opposed to just their own stuff. And there's nothing wrong with just your own stuff, but it's harder to get the credit sometimes when you meld together and do things. So it takes a special group of people, honestly, to come together and do things as a collective and a unit, and not just want to get the credit for themselves.
I agree with that. I know for myself, and as I'm always a cheerleader for all, but I know for myself, I like sharing other people's content because I feel like, we can all rise together. It doesn't have to be it's just Gwendolyn and whatever else. And I am surrounded by some really cool people. The content creators over there on IndieSoup Media, we are some snazzy people. We are putting out good stuff. Really putting out some good stuff.
Putting it down. Absolutely. 100% agree.
So as I am feeling like I went through a color run.
I love it though. I you know what?
I mean, maybe I should dye my hair blue. Maybe I should do a little blue in my hair.
I was looking. I was like, that kind of looks, a little fly. That's kind of dope. I like that. It matches your color scheme today.
It does. I'm just like, I knew it was blue, but I was like, what? It's okay though. It's okay. I'm just gonna be locked up later on doing some cleaning. But I do want to talk about this. Yeah. And as I wipe off the book, because it was all nice. I had to cover my drink. I want to talk about the book that you contributed to, the 100 live streaming and digital media predictions. And you talked about citizen journalism. You spoke about that. Can you dig deeper into that for us and really share what you predict? And I am seeing what you talked about in that piece.
Well, the proliferation of smartphones, of cameras that are so small that you can put them in your pocket. What is going on? Really? Okay.
We are having a time.
This is crazy.
The joy of being live, people.
Yes. And this does not happen to me elsewhere, but today it's happening. Okay. So the proliferation of cameras that are really small for example, I know you've seen the Ray-Bans.
Yes.
Yes, they're actually from Meta. There's that collaboration between Meta and Ray-Ban, and they're a competitor to the spectacles. Snapchat came out with the spectacles. If you remember, years and years ago, Google had Google Glass, which they could have done better with, but they were on the cusp and the precipice of something big and they just didn't go with it. So you've got all those types of things that makes it easier for the average everyday citizen to capture footage, to capture what is happening in the moment. The thing is too, unfortunately, sometimes we don't live in the moment. We're so busy trying to record the moment that we're not living it. But consequently, what has happened is that we all have been able to experience some amazing moments, right? So I'll go back a little bit to, if you all remember the Arab Spring, and the protests that were happening all around the Arab world in protest of government policies, etc. That was really the first time that we heard en masse of the citizen journalist actually having an effect, right? Of them getting out there and us experiencing this Arab Spring because of social media. Now, not that it didn't really exist before, but we were posting cat videos. Okay, that's what we were concerned with. But for the first time, it was using social media to put an eye on the world, to show the things that were happening. So I think that we're going to see more and more of this, right? And let's even go back before that, the Rodney King incident. It just happened that the person who recorded had one of the old school manual video recorders, video cameras. But that it wasn't necessarily a thing in the 80s. Was it the 80s or 90s?
90s.
It was the 90s, right? It was
90s.
the early 90s. So it wasn't a thing in the 90s for everybody to have a video camera. That wasn't a thing. That's for rich folk. That's if you had it, right? So this person happened to have it, just so happened to say, you know what? I'm going to record this. So when we talk about citizen journalism, that's among one of the first moments that we see en masse. So it's only going to get more and more prevalent. It's only going to proliferate more, and we'll see more of that. And we're all participating in that. Now, if I may, we have to be careful with that power. When you're a citizen journalist, in effect, you are a journalist, and you still need to adhere to the rules that journalists are supposed to adhere to. There's like a code of conduct, right? And rules of ethics when you're a journalist, similar to like a Hippocratic oath for doctors or medical professionals to do no harm, right? That's what we're supposed to adhere to also. But when you haven't been trained, when you are not you don't watch the news. Listen, half of the people that are recording stuff, they don't watch the news. They don't understand journalism. They don't understand telling the story. They're bringing it there. Now, I appreciate them for it, but there's a way that you do things. And if you haven't been trained to understand that, then it's a problem. And so this is why I really think that there needs to be more training and coaching, etc., for citizen journalists. Everything is aimed at the traditional journalists. And I'm like, no, everybody these days has some level of journalistic ability because they have the tools. We just have to teach them how to use it better.
Let me get some of those comments, and I'm going to come right back to that. Shout out to Black Eighth Element, who is here. Serena says, word, there's room for everybody. Yes, there is. And she says, yes to blue hair. You know what? I might have to try it. If it's not, it's got to be like with no chemicals, something natural. Because there's no chemical head here.
They've got gel. They've got gels that, it's like a paste kind of that's temporary that you can wash out.
I have to do a little something.
Yeah.
I may have to do a little something. My mother is saying hello to my brother as well. Hey, Hannah Boyd Miller is here.
Hey.
Ron says you better speak, Tachi, recording the moment and not living the moment. And I want to go there because a dear friend has a pair of those Ray-Ban glasses. And we were at the conference and I had a chance to wear them. And so I am wearing them and recording like our opening party. And, it's feeling okay. But then you start thinking with a lot of things that we have, there's always a few bad actors. And I know as a photographer, when we do street photography, if you're on the street, you are open to being photographed, right? Like that's just because you're out there, you're in the public. But where do we come into a place where there are people wearing these glasses and things who are doing stuff that just isn't quite right? And it goes beyond, right? Like a person's privacy and stuff. In my head, I just have this weird feeling that we're already being surveilled as is. And so now you have people doing their own personal surveillance. Like, unless you look, you don't know that someone has them on because they can be prescription glasses.
Yeah, exactly.
So where do you see that going?
That kind of reminds me back when I lived in DC. I lived in DC in like the early 2000s, and I left in 2005. There was a store in downtown DC, like by the the arena where the Wizards play, called the what was it, the Counter Spy Shop.
Mhm.
And they had all of these like spy type things, like glasses with camera. So that was like, you were before your time, Counter Spy Shop, before your time. So there's always been, I would say, ever since the days of quote James Bond, because remember, we live out sort of what we see in film and in television. So things like Star Trek brought that type of technology to light. And then we had James Bond, who brought all that to light. But the thing is, it's like, if they can dream it, they can make it. And so now we're seeing that. And we're seeing that, though, now from something like a Counter Spy Shop to the masses, right? Even though it's not a mass medium yet, because it's not like everybody has it, but it's certainly more accessible than technology like this in the past was. And you're absolutely right. Wherever there's technology, there's a propensity for bad actors to take this technology and do diabolical things with it. Absolutely. But I always look at this type of technology and how it can be helpful, right? So I think that, yeah, there are always bad actors. I think that, I was about to say legislation will have a part of it, but legislation, what's that?
Legislation.
Listen,
In this universe.
so in this bizarro world that we live in,
Right.
but in the flip side, in the alternate Spider-Verse, there's rule and regulation, right? And so I think that will have to happen, because traditionally law has been slow and regulation has been slow to catch up with technology. And this is why we tend to have a lot of problems, because we don't rein in things before it becomes a problem. And part of the thing is because the people who are on the hill are Methuselahs, and they don't understand this. And so what they don't understand, they ignore, and they don't legislate. And then they get mad and want to call Zuckerberg and Apple and everybody to the hill when there's a problem, when you knew ahead of time that this could possibly be a problem, but you did nothing about it. Are we relying on the companies to do something? They're not going to. They're trying to make money.
That's a good point. I was thinking for myself, being in the home industry, I remember a point where they were making these deeper, sort of really big, thick mattresses with like the built-in mattress cover, but they didn't talk to the people who actually made the bed sheets. So you ended up with all these mattresses that didn't have bed sheets. It's like, well, we're not even talking to each other. So I mean, it's that whole deal of, if you're going to plan for something, we probably should work together and get further ahead. And we have talked about, and we've seen it, where AI, which you also talked about in your article, has hit the scene and is doing amazing things. But as always, you find those bad actors who go and deep fake somebody's voice, fake a video, and things of that nature. So I want to take a quick little pause and run back, because we really haven't spoken about who you are and what your superpower is. So Dr. Tachi, who are you?
I'm a person that's fighting with this camera right now because I don't know what's going on. I keep having to turn it on. I don't know what's happening, so I apologize for that. But that's an excellent question, because I'm going to try and define myself without using what I do, which is difficult, because in this country, we're so tied to what we do, which in a sense is part of our identity, but it's not all I am, right?
Yes.
I'm, besides a person fighting for her life with this right now, I am a lover of the arts. I am a creative, and not just in the sense of livelihood and money. I'm a creative all the way around. I am a person who enjoys people. At the same time, I can't stand people. Which is a unique part of my personality. I love you, I hate you. So
I understand.
Yeah, you get it. So, I mean, I think I'm just an overall lover of life, and a lover of people, and a person who really wants the best for the people around her and the world around her. I think that's,
I believe you summed you up extremely well. I would have said the exact same thing. It's like number one
Really?
answer on the board. It's like ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
Okay.
I would have said all of those things for sure.
Oh, wow, good. And see, this is the thing. I usually don't say things about myself. I rely on other people to say these things for me. So because and when going back to my communication training, I always teach students when I teach like an interpersonal or that type of communication, that you don't get to know yourself first. You get to know yourself through what other people say and think about you. So that's how you first learn yourself. That's the unfortunate thing about that is then people can tell you who you are, right? So it's always really good to have a concept of self and who you are so that other people cannot tell you who you are.
Well, somebody told me I had a bad attitude, and I was like, those are lies. And then I thought, well, maybe they're right. Maybe there is a little bad attitude.
Well, Gwendolyn, sometimes there's a modicum of truth in things.
I was like, you know what? I do have a bad attitude. You are correct on that. Let me get some of these comments. Cass is here. Hello, blessed day to you, ma'am. Blessed day. Serena says there are so many videos out there now where it's the person speaking and someone sounds like them. It's annoying. I know, right?
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm gonna let you take that one.
Yeah, this is the thing. It is very annoying, but some of this is our own doing. I think we have to take the blame for what is our own doing. It is so easy now to use AI tools to mimic your own voice so that you can, create an avatar, or, now I can record this without me having to sit down and record everything myself. I love that for us. I also hate that for us because as we were talking about bad actors, there are those who can, snatch it. You don't even have to do anything, and someone can snatch the voice and put it in and do all sorts of things with it. And it's been shown over and over, definitely. But here's the thing. I think humans still win every time. We will still win every time if we are vigilant about it. I always tell people when it comes to news stories, for example, why are you going with the first news story you hear? Are you sure it's true? Have you checked other sources? So my thing is, I always tell people, listen, at the minimum, check three sources. If there is agreement, somehow there's probably some modicum of truth in this, right?
Yes.
And then you could do more, but you need to check more than one source, right? And so the thing is, with using that as a metaphor for this, are you checking the source? If you listen very closely, you're going to be able to tell that it's getting really good, but you can still tell when something is AI. So for example, there is an ad on YouTube all the time, because I spend like the entire day watching YouTube. So there's an ad on YouTube right now that is saying, I can't remember what it's about, but they tried to make this guy look so natural, but I'm looking and I'm like, okay, this person is blinking too much. Okay, I'm hearing his voice and they're getting the highs and lows kind of, but I still hear something off. And this is when I heard it. He was like, I do live streaming every day. It's live streaming with AI. So you listen for things like this, and it will let you know that this may not be it. And you can see unnatural mannerisms, right? Mm-hmm, we don't do this all the time. AI tends to do that. So, it's annoying when you hear the voices and see the mannerisms of something that is AI, definitely. But we also have to say, how did we contribute to this? You may not have, but sometimes you do by using these tools, and you have to be aware of that.
I appreciate that. I know it's just, I would think, and I know that's not the thing to say, I would believe at this point that we would start checking resources because we have seen so much. The day that Prince died, my friend met me at the office and she was like, "You're here?" And I said, "Well, yeah." She's like, "Prince died." I said, "You're a liar. You're a filthy liar." So I checked CNN, MSNBC. I checked every single reputable at that time resource before I said, "You're not lying. You are telling the truth." Right? Whereas just the other day, Somebody had that Layla Ali died in childbirth. And I'm thinking, first of all, it's awful that we still do those things. Like they were trying to kill Sinbad, like what, 8 times back there, like back in the 20, whatever.
Yes.
And, I mean, it was like every other week, Sinbad was dying again. So at some point, we have to know before you go sharing a story, a message, a link, why don't you check to see if it's really real?
Exactly.
Why people do it, I don't understand, but yeah. Hannah says, stuff happens. Dr. Tachi, let me tell you something real quick, people. Something that you can't see, and I'm trying to, actually, I think I'm doing fairly well, but there is powder on the ceiling. This powder is falling between my eyes and my glasses onto this towel. I'm just like, just don't look at it, Gwendolyn. Just don't look at it. But there's
listen,
on
the social media gods are not on our side today. I don't know what we did in a past life to upset them.
Here's the deal. When I said I wanted to create a showstopper first episode of season 4, I meant that clearly because we are doing it.
Even if that's not what we meant.
Even if that's not what we meant. She said, a lover of good cameras at work. Oh, Chris says your camera is hating on you. Yes.
And listen, this is the new camera.
This is is this that Lumix S5?
Yes, but
really?
For some reason, I don't think some reason it's a camera, and then I use an interface, I use a switcher.
Okay.
So I've been using this camera and it's been fine. But today, I don't know why. I checked all the cables. It should be fine, but it just keeps switching them. I don't know what the heck.
Well, I'm looking at it. It is snazzy. Like that's a good camera.
It's well, you're a photographer. It's the lens more than the camera body.
I'm looking at the glass. I'm looking at the glass.
Right.
I'm like, ooh, she is like. That is like awesome.
When it stays on, I don't know what the hell.
I want to come back to talking about cameras and creating content because I had a conversation the other day and someone was discussing how my phone doesn't make great content. I want you to share your perspective as a person who deals with the media on a consistent basis.
Sure.
And for those who don't know, so real little side note, as Ron Foster says, yes, please check the source. Check the source. Hey, the food place.
Yes.
Is here. Hello, DS is here. Congrats for 1 year. Yes, we are doing all the celebrations here, man.
Listen.
But I want to go back to the camera thing. Because I understand that yes, our cameras, like if you're a photographer or filmmaker, and I remember the first time I saw Tuesdays with Gary.
Yeah.
And I was watching that and I was like, Ron, Gary got some mad skills. I was like, Gary doing it. I'm like, that film works, the transitions, the thing. I was like, oh my God, that's gorgeous. And you were like, yeah, that's me. I was like, what? Really? What? Like, I need to understand. So for those people who are just waiting, they're like holding back on starting a YouTube channel. They're a little anxious about creating content, putting themselves in front of the camera. Can we talk gear first? And then let's talk how you show up.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this stuff. Thank you for asking. Start where you are. You probably already have a lot of what you need to get started. Get a good camera, first of all. Because this one is failing me today.
No, it's not. I've heard great things about the Lumix.
Yeah, no. I love the Lumix. I love this camera. It's actually really good. It's just connection. So start where you are. There's something that I teach called CALISO. CALISO, camera lighting sound. That's the basic foundations of what you need in terms of creating a great series. I mean, there are other things, but gear-wise, this is what we need. You need some sort of camera to capture the image. You probably already have a smartphone. I know very few people in this day and age that do not have smartphones. So you probably already have a smartphone. Start there. When you are, if you're recording, You can play around with the settings in your phone, right? The white balance, how bright something is, what the saturation looks like. You could play around with that if you are recording. If you're going live, it's going to have very little impact. You could play around with it ahead of time, but while you're going live and streaming, there's not a lot you can do with your phone once you're live. Okay. Yes, you can adjust it on if you're using something like I'm using like a mirrorless, or if you're using a DSLR or a separate camera. But if you are recording on and going live from the same device, you can't really adjust the settings while you're live, and it doesn't do a whole lot of good to do it before. What you have to do is play with light to make your image look good. Okay, so the second thing is and really I should have sound first, because sound is really the most important. People will stick around for a terrible image, but they will leave if your sound is not great. Like a slightly blurry image or slightly pixelated because you're live streaming in a bad area, they'll forgive that. But the sound has to be there. And so you need an external microphone. Don't try and say, oh, but the iPhone has a good bullocks. It does not. You need an outside microphone. Don't try and tell me that you can use the onboard one. Now, if you're in a situation where you have nothing else and that's what you need to use, fine. I'd rather you capture it than not. But get yourself an external microphone, get a small one that you can walk around with, so that when it's time, like if you're somewhere and something happens, bam, I've got my lapel mic, plug it in, hi, live from the South Street Seaport. That type of thing. That's what you want. So you need, and there are different types of microphones that we can talk about. So now let's talk about lighting. Lighting can cheat a bad camera and make it look good, right? Or at least decent. You're still using an iPhone 1? Okay. The picture may not be great, but if you're using proper lighting and you've cleaned off the lens, it probably is. You can make that's the biggest mistake with images that we make. We don't clean off the lens. So those are some basic things gear-wise. Think Calypso, camera, lighting, sound.
Camera, lighting, sound. Yes. I mean, I tell people all the time, and I want to say I did a video not too long ago where I mentioned that I still use my Samsung S8 Plus. People are none the wiser. So when we say you probably have what you need, you probably have what you need. I like how Serena says, get a good camera as it cuts off. But this is the joy of going live, people. Because you're going to do some things, right?
Listen,
what's going to happen?
I owe you another interview because of this. Where we don't have any blue haze. My camera would be stable. We need to do a part 2.
Okay, so since you said that, and this goes into what Chris was saying, which was just do it. Let me say this, people. I understand that some of us, not me, because Gwendolyn lives in her foolishness. I'm gonna come with all of the foolishness all day, so I'm okay with it. I show up like Ann, but nothing is going to be perfect. I don't know how many times in my former life as a market trainer, as a hiring manager, all the things that I would get all of my stuff in order. I would play the presentation. I would do a drive run. You go live, stuff don't want to work. How many times have we been there? So I'm used to having a plan A, B, C, D, and E available. The show must go on. That's just what it is, right? So you just get used to doing it. As Serena says, I love when people are moving their cameras or phone too much, and it just makes me dizzy. We're moving. Yeah. Okay. Clearly, that's touched a goal there. That's touched a nerve there. And she says her next to have a lapel mic. And Ron was talking about that he does that with his DJI. He has his mic. And yes, clean your lens.
The jumpy video is the bane of my very existence. It is my Achilles heel. It is my too thick oatmeal in the morning. It is the underdone toast.
Oh my God. Oh.
I hate that so much because, and what it is, listen, and I have to realize, I've realized a lot lately that I cannot measure everyone with my ruler, the ruler I use to measure myself, because everyone does not have the same level of training. I understand that. But what I had to do was, because my sister was sending me something, I was like, why does this look like Rocky Horror Picture Show? What is this jumpiness? And she was like, yeah, well, I don't have, I said, well, in film school, they taught us to make our bodies into a tripod. So I'm going to teach you guys now. So if you you don't have a tripod, you don't have a gimbal, first of all, get one. But if you don't have one, I'm going to show you what to do. So when people are using their phone, right, there's this tendency to this is how people are doing it. And there's like, yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, I'm right in front of the ocean and click. I'm not watching you with that rubbish. We're not doing that today. If you want people to watch, let me tell you what to do. What you're going to do is take your elbows and bring them into your sides. Okay. You're going to use that as a stable base. Now, see what happens here? And you keep those elbows tight. Now, you see how there's no shaking? It's because my elbows and sides are anchored. Okay. And so that makes this stable. If I'm out here like this, I can easily, everything will shake. Bring it in and anchor yourself, right? So that's if you don't have that. And you could do the same thing this way, okay, right? If you're doing vertical video. So turn yourself into a tripod if you don't have one. Are your arms going to hurt after a while? Yes, they will. But that will teach you next time to go and get a tripod or a gimbal that you can use. That's what you get. But in the absence of all of that, you could turn your body into a tripod. Exactly. Ron says 3 points of body stabilizing, right? You're stabilizing your body. I could shoot. And remember, I come from the old school. Like when I was an undergrad, this was just when we were switching over to things being non-linear editing with computers. People were still shooting. They taught me to shoot on 3/4 inch tape and 1/2 inch tape. And those were the big cameras that you had to put on your shoulder. So you had to be stable. So that's when they taught us to make our bodies into a tripod. And I'm so glad for that training. I mean, shortly after, cameras got really small, but I'm glad for that training because that's how I know how to keep stable now. It's the same thing with, I learned film and video old school and editing from like reel to reel. And God forbid, for example, with your film, if you cut it in the wrong place, you can splice it back together, but it's okay. And then you don't know. I didn't know what my film looked like until it came back from developing. I just hope and prayed that I had a pretty good thing of telling the film lab, I'm like, push it one stop. I think it's too dark. Or pull it back one stop. I think it's too bright. So I was really good with that type of thing and being able to judge. But if you messed it up, that's too bad because 3 minutes of film at that time was like $25.
Different. Well, I shouldn't say different times. I mean, I shoot with film now. And yes, you are. It is the idea of looking at your environment and making sure all the things are right. But that was a great tip on making your safe stable. I hired my nephew once to record some behind the scenes. I just about died. I said, what is going on? Now, I will tell you, there's one of the films where he is clearly moving like this. I was like, oh my God, I use it anyway, but I also use an animation that matches it. So it kind of goes with the beat, but that's just by the luck of whatever. But I was like, what is this? Why are we moving? Serena says it happened at CQ5. I had to leave Lies because folks were moving too much. And it really makes me dizzy. Found the one who was steady and rocked it out all night. I understand.
Listen.
It's like stand still.
I'm the same way. So I'm one that I usually stream hop for CQ events because I'm probably not there. So I'm like, and thank goodness, there's so many great members of the Club Quarantine community that will go live. and I say this in love, some of you all need to stick to whatever your day job is and not get into videography, because I can't do it. Because the thing is, you are, and I understand you're doing this out of the goodness of your heart, and you are there to have a good time. But if you're recording, I can't have you dancing and having a good time while I'm trying to watch. So I always go to the people who can keep their camera phone stable and it feels like an experience.
Yes. It's like, can we focus on the task at hand, please?
Hey!
As Doria says, if you know you will be dancing, running, turning too fast with the phone or camera, then don't go live. I will say, I didn't go live. I did this. I decided it would be cute years back to do. I did a purple run 7K in Las Vegas, Sunset Park, and I had my Samsung 360. Right, it's like, I'm going to film myself running, which sounds great. So the camera films both ways.
Yes.
What I didn't remember was that all my bosom was on the other side. And I thought, we can never share this video.
Wow.
This is not that channel.
That would end up on OnlyFans or something so fast. I'm glad you did not.
If I ever decide to go to an OnlyFans, I was like, what? Yeah, sometimes you just kind of forget like what you do with the 360 camera. But as I go through these comments, yes, okay, so you know what, the glasses, thank you, DS, I am loving. We do have a collection. I have progressives and readers and my regular prescription.
Listen, her glasses game is so on point. If I wore glasses,
we are rocking the glasses. So here's my last thing, because I know we're tying this up. And yes, Dr. Tachi, I'm gonna have to go get. Party City is now closed. I do have other confetti though. I keep confetti on me because, but
you just decided to go for the newfangled one today, right?
I know. I was like, this is gonna be amazing. It was amazing. Okay, can we talk about editing? And I have found that there are tools now. You can use a Canva, you can use a CapCut, you can use some of the others, but you mentioned filming linear. Is it linear?
Non-linear.
Non-linear. Thank you, ma'am. Getting these words out sometimes.
It's okay.
I haven't had a whole bottle of champagne yet. Can we discuss how to take like your average, I hate to say average video, and zhuzh it up just by putting together a story that's not linear? Did I lose myself?
Yeah, no. So here's the thing. That's my favorite saying, apparently. I say it a lot. But here's the thing. When we look at people and what they do professionally, when it comes to, and I was on a streak, when it comes to people and what they do professionally for video, you're going to notice a few things, and I want everybody to watch for these things. People who, first of all, let's go to, we're talking about editing, but okay, lighting. Have you ever seen anybody in a news studio use a ring light? No, because they were not intended for video. They were intended for makeup artists and to illuminate things, not people. So when I see people get so excited about, I spent X, Y, Z on a ring light, good for you. I'm going to tell you that, but if you ask me, I will tell you, but I've not solicited, I'm not saying anything, but you're using the wrong thing for the job, right? So now when we look at editing, do you see a whole bunch of fancy star wipes and a whole bunch of things by people who make films? No. It's very simple. They use, I should say, use cuts. We use cross dissolves and fade in, fade out. Now, social media makes it a little different because, it's a little snazzier, a little flashier. We may see some interesting transitions, right? Some different things. But what happens is everybody uses the same tools. So if I see this particular edit 10 million times, after a while, I'm like, okay, that's from CapCut.
Yeah.
And you want to be as nondescript as possible. The point is your message. The point is your story, not tools, what tools you used. And if I can tell that you used XYZ, to me, it becomes less special. It doesn't mean it's less of a story, but it becomes less special because I know what you use. And part of the magic of content and magic of film and television and movies is that you're taken outside of the world of the technical. It becomes about the story. If I can guess what you use, you've taken me outside of the world of the story. So to me, the simpler, the better. See if you could tell this. See if you there's an exercise we used to do in film school, like a continuity exercise. Can you tell this story in one shot? So from the time you say action to the time you yell cut, can you tell the story without turning the camera on and off? So that's an exercise, and it teaches you to be right on point with your script, right on point with your shooting. So of course you rehearse a little bit first and then you just do it. And you may have to do more than one take to get it, right? But see if you can do that and that doesn't require any editing except for the, maybe the chopping off of the cut action of the cut. But see if you could tell your story in one swoop without cutting off the camera. And then if you feel like you want to do that and you make a mistake and you want to clean it up in editing, see if you could do it with very simple transitions. Try maybe a fade in, fade out. Try maybe just a cross dissolve. Try a cut, a cut to black. Try very simple things.
I'm listening to you and I'm reminded of, and I can't think of the person the quote, but he talked about design, how design is not, this ornate thing. It's very simple. It's straightforward. It's clean. That's what design is. And I watched the movie. Well, let me take it. I didn't watch the whole movie because it wasn't catching. It's called Aftermath. It's on Netflix. But the one thing I started doing was I was counting how long the footage played before they went to a transition. And they were very basic, like side in, up in, side out. I mean, it was not like these, and it was like 4 seconds. And then it was this 4 seconds. And it was that 4 seconds. And this went for like 30. And then it wasn't zooming in. It's funny how you start looking at things differently when you're trying to do something else. But they were all very simple. I shouldn't say simple, but they were your base transitions, if I may. But yeah, that's a good one, Dr. Tachi. I appreciate that. I have a question. Let me get this question in from DS. Is if you had to compromise one, would it be video or audio? I mean, they say audio is king.
Audio is king. People can stick around for if there's good audio, and they'll forgive a bad picture, but they can't do bad audio. But my thing is, listen, you can fix things before you start to shoot to make sure the conditions are right. It's difficult to fix things in post. Same thing with, sometimes people think, oh, this is enough footage, get more than what you need, because you can also always get rid of what you don't need, but you can't create what you don't have.
Oh my goodness, Dr. Tachi, I have put in a clause for my customers that if you're going to wear a lace front, get your stuff together, because ain't nobody working on all of that. I'm not doing it.
Listen.
Not unless I get paid extra cash to fix your lace front.
Listen, how about no lace front? Because the probability, but you bring up something really interesting, because the probability of something going wrong when you have extraneous things, it's going, now again, some people have to wear, wigs and lace front, that's fine. But if you can avoid it and you don't have to, why would you put yourself in? There's one creator who I really love, but she has a tendency to, and she's like, has a lot of money. She does this luxury stuff. And her lace fronts are good usually, but when you have a good camera also, it tells all. So she's right in the camera and I'm like, I wonder what kind of glue that is. Because it's not melted at all. And again, there you go. You've taken me out of the world of the story. So when you have all of this going on and I'm busy looking at lace front, what did you say? Yes. I'm sorry, I was looking at your lace front.
Yeah.
Lifting.
It can be a
ball of glue.
Yeah. It can be a bit distracting.
Yeah, don't give your audience distractions.
No. Oh my goodness. Okay, so first of all, I would love if everybody would just, before we wrap this up, give Dr. Tachi a round of applause and her flowers.
Thank you.
For
Yay.
giving us and creating IndieSoup Media, for sharing her expertise in this amazing hour of who knows what went down today.
Goodness gracious me. This was something. I loved it though. Can I say thank you? You are a joy to be around. I love being on your show. You are like, there's this infectiousness that you have as a host that I was like, as soon as you were like, would you like to? Yes. You could have been asking anything else. And I'm thinking this, but yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Well, you know what, I appreciate, I was telling somebody that, I remember, and people talk about this, people talk about moving in silence. I do believe there is a time for stealth mode. However, I also believe in order for us to reach our highest height, we have to share our dreams with people. So it does require some discernment. And I was telling people how I really wanted to have a talk show of some sort and do some things.
You know what?
It's look. If you want me to send you this extra bottle I got to Tachi, I can send it to you. I can send you this.
I don't know what's going on. Hold on a minute. Keep talking.
I can send you the extra bottle. But the moment I started talking about wanting to have a talk show or some sort of show that spoke to other people beyond my own platform, people started showing up. Like, people were like, hey, you can join my OTT network. It costs XYZ dollars. I'm like, I don't know about that because I don't have a crowd. I don't have an audience. So-and-so said you can do XYZ for this many dollars. And then Dr. Tachi showed up and said, hey, I want to create a space for creators and we can build this together. And that was all I needed to hear, was that we can build this together. And I said, you know what? I am here for it. I am here. So I have loved every single thing. Oh, thank you, DS. I appreciate it. My mom is also giving me some love here. I just, you don't get these kind of people all the time. And I know there are a lot of folks who don't want to do the hard work. Somebody has to build these bridges, these foundations for us to go someplace. I don't mind you coming in the middle, but we're going to have to get in some trenches. Okay?
Yes.
We're going to have to be dirty, like grimy.
Absolutely.
Grimy. What is that? I'm thinking of the I'm thinking of the 90s. My time in New York. Grimy.
New Yorkers love some grimy, don't they?
Can't help it.
Girly
said,
and
yep,
grimy.
that was the draw for me. Thank you, right? That was the draw. And so I appreciate the good Lord bringing people like you into my life. And yes,
Amen.
we love the bloopers cast. Trust, I'm gonna use all this content. You best believe it.
Listen, I have to tell you, I don't even know where the camera went.
Oh my God, there's nothing worse than
I had to turn on the other
look
one.
on my face was like, but that's not confetti. That's not it.
I was like, this is an interesting type of confetti. Blue? Wow.
Yes, I know. What's that audio that says, and at this moment, she knew she had effed. Oh my God.
Yep, that's me. I bet you're wondering how I got here. Yeah.
I am choking over here. It was like, yes, at that moment I knew we done messed up, because there's some residual all around here. So goodness gracious. Thank you all for thank you. Thank you for coming in here and sharing your expertise. We will bring you back.
Yes.
Sure.
And nothing will go wrong then when I come back.
Nothing will go wrong. Nothing. Well, and I'm going to bring one of my other confetti poppers, because I believe in my confetti-ness. I believe in it.
Absolutely. And you're usually right on, spot on.
Yes, Onyx. Yes, grimy. I'm thinking of, what's that, Noriega and all. Let me not start.
That's a whole other show.
That's a whole other show. Oh my goodness. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Before I go, one thing, if you haven't already, get on the GRH Jack newsletter. I send out something about once a month because I want to organize your inbox as well because we understand. But we're in some different times. We're in some different times here. So be sure you get on the grhjack.com and sign up for the newsletter that comes out about, like I said, about once a month. I would do one today, but yeah. And if you have not already, please be sure to follow IndieSoup Media.
Yes. Yes.
For tonight, if I may give a shameless plug.
Yeah, it's not shameless.
On one of my shows, we're going to be talking about mezcal tonight.
Yes.
Mezcal. Yes. We are talking about mezcal, and we're still in Cozumel. And somehow Gwendolyn ended up with a little cannabis. It's a story. Let me just say that. It is.
Wow.
It's a story.
But can I just say, I just want to, not to interrupt you, but
go ahead.
Let's Wine a Little is beyond what I even expected. When you were telling me that you wanted to do a series, and it was at the time it was going to be a limited series about wine, I was like, yeah, sure, I would love that. In my head, I'm like, it's coming back. And I knew it was, I'm like, yeah, it's coming back. But it's so phenomenal. If you all have not tuned into Let's Wine a Little, you've got to. Gwendolyn is so knowledgeable about wine and spirits and pairings, and it is such a fun show as well. So tune in tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern time, which is 5 p.m. Central where you are. I'm on your show, so I'm going to be nice and act like Central time matters.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central.
Yes.
We're covering mezcal tonight. Oh my God, I love mezcal. But yeah, and we'll be in the interactive chat. We will be there. So bring your questions, bring your thoughts. And we're planning for season 3 because it's a world to be explored. That's for sure.
I'm excited. I'm so excited.
Yes. So if you have not, follow IndieSoup Media because that's where things are going down. And also follow Dr. Tachi. She has a lot of more advice about getting your creative content self together in terms of choosing gear, lighting, more as you say.
Yes.
Make sure you follow Dr. Tachi on YouTube and Instagram and all her social media is what I should say.
Yes.
Sweet. All right, people. Let me I'm gonna get the rest of my bottle and I'm about to clean up because yeah. Maybe I should do a behind the scenes of me cleaning up.
Yeah, no. Don't clean it up until you've got to do everything is content. So make it a behind the scenes.
I'm gonna make it behind the scenes, people. Stay tuned for this video. I don't know if I want my husband to see this because
you can clean it up before he gets back.
He would say something. He must definitely say something. It's 420 somewhere. You know what? They wouldn't have mimosas and like Bloody Marys if we couldn't drink all day. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Okay?
Wow.
And since Chris says, thank you, ladies, for the knowledge and entertainment during the middle of the day. You guys are welcome. With that, saying, see you guys later.
Bye.
Thank you for watching another episode of Small Biz Bites with Gwendolyn on Houston Jack, where we chat with other creatives and small business owners about their journey. And we also invite you to like, share, and subscribe to the GR Houston Jack YouTube channel, where you can get the latest and greatest.